Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me once again. It's Clara here again. So let's continue the story. So, like I ended last time, I talked about a lot of things concerning my weight loss journey, but now I just want to tell you more, especially on how I discovered that I had diabetes and also high blood pressure. Yes. So to start the ball rolling, let me just say that the first time that I discovered, or the first time that I was diagnosed that I had diabetes, was when I was 5 months pregnant with my last born. I went for checkups at the hospital, and the doctor told me that in my urine, as they were doing the test, they were seeing some glucose. So they went on and they did some more tests which confirmed that actually I I was diabetic. So I asked so many questions, but the doctor said that no, this condition normally comes when somebody is pregnant. It's just, because the hormones are not really balanced. So a lot of things come in like, diabetes. So you don't have to worry about it. Immediately you're going to have a baby, the whole thing will, disappear and you carry on with your life. So they gave me some medication and they made sure that the medication that they gave me didn't disturb, the growth of the baby in my womb. So anyway, to cut the story short, I had my baby. It wasn't a really very, smooth road for me because during those days I used to go a lot at the hospital where sometimes I could be admitted, stay there for a week because they were wanted to make sure that I was healthy. And I remember one time, because of the same illness, my doctor was told me that maybe we can try to do something like getting rid of the baby. Since there's a danger here, we don't know, you might die or the baby might die. So it's better we save the mom. I said, no ways, I can't do that. It's better I die and not my baby. I just had so much faith and I just didn't believe in what she was telling me. So I had my baby, everything went to normal. I was alive, so happy with the baby. And then later on, like maybe a few years later, my family and I were coming from another city that is Lusaka. And on our way, when we reached Ndola, we had an accident. And this accident, I was the only one who was injured and I had some internal injuries. So as we went to the hospital, they started doing some tests again. I stayed in the hospital for like a week because I couldn't even go to the toilet, like to urinate. I couldn't do that. I don't know what happened inside of me. They did some tests again, and then they also discovered that I had very high, I was diabetic. So the doctor was asking me, do you have diabetes? I said, no, but I had it when I was pregnant. So the doctor said that, you know what, your sugar levels are so high. They are like 39. And I'm like, what is the normal, the normal range? So he told me that about 3 or maybe even 5. I'm like, what? So I could just see the panic in the doctor and the nurses. They took the drip. They injected me with insulin, and then I was like, what's going on here? I was trying to find out, but it was all confusion. People started panicking. And then the nurse told me that actually you are on the dangerous zone. You could have just collapsed and, So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is how serious it is. And I was even admitted. They say you can't go home. And I had a very sharp pain in my stomach. So I stayed in the hospital for like 2 weeks or so. They were observing me. The sugar levels came down to 14 after maybe a week or so. And then the doctor told me that we cannot discharge you because we really want to make sure you are okay. That's when you can go home. I'm telling you guys, being in a hospital is not good at all. I was so depressed because I really wanted to be with my family, my kids, my partner, and it made me to be miserable. My BP was shooting all the time, and I think it's because of the trauma that I had, because I was scared. I was afraid that I'm going to die and I'm going to leave my family. I remember one night at the hospital, you guys, I prayed. I told God, the universe, I'm like, if you are really there, please, I don't want to die. I don't want to die this time. If you want me to do something here on earth, please spare my life. Let me do what I need to do. Let me do my mission. I pleaded with God. I pleaded. I remember I was bathing in the hospital, and I started singing songs, just appreciating God. And that weekend, the weekend which followed, I was discharged. Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. But I realized that I prayed and God heard my prayers. So I was given a lot of medication actually for high blood pressure and also for diabetes. So I went home. My mom was at home. She came all the way from Lusaka to come and see how I was doing, because it was a very it was a danger zone, you guys. Yeah, I faced death. Even my mother-in-law was around. Yeah, so I went home, the kids were there, I saw them, and I was like, oh, I would have lost you guys. Yeah, it was a wonderful moment for me to go back home, except I went with a lot of medication, and then I don't like taking medicine. So anyway, I started taking the medicine, and I realized that when I started taking the medicine, it was like it was making me tired. I wasn't myself. I used to feel tired. I just used to feel terrible, you guys. So I started a little bit of doing exercises. And by then I already looked like I used to do this diet thing. I thought I was healthy, so I was just wondering why I had that diabetes. Yeah, so that was what happened, you guys. So let me just say something about the diabetes and what it is. So according to Google, diabetes, it is a disease in which the body's ability to produce or respond to hormone insulin is impaired, resulting in abnormal metabolism of carbohydrates and elevated levels of glucose in the blood. Another definition goes like this: a group of diseases that result in too much sugar in the blood, high blood glucose in other ways. So there are like two types of diabetes, and there's also pre-diabetic. So when we come back to type 2, which I had, it's type 2 diabetes is a chronic condition that affects the way the body processes blood sugar, that is glucose. And type 1, this is the one which now you are born with. Type 1 diabetes is a chronic condition in which the pancreas produces little or no insulin. So when we come to pre-diabetes, this is simply, it is a condition in which blood sugar is high, but not high enough to be type 2 diabetes. Yes, so this is where I'm going to end here, you guys. Remember, we are still moving on with this journey. So if you want to hear more, you guys, tune in for tomorrow's video where I shall expand more and give more details, you guys. I hope you are learning something. So, like always, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, The Clarah Chips Show, what are you waiting for? This is the time, you guys. Yeah, you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I also post some videos there, but a bit different from this one. Yeah, so I'll see you in my next video, you guys. For now, it's bye-bye. Mwah.